and welcome to another edition of Marquette in Motion. We're your hosts, Morgan Minster
and Amber Krieg. On today's show, we'll be reporting on the upcoming Junior High Science Fair, discussing a recent Dubuque Arts Council visit, answering some of your questions in You Ask, We Answer,
and as always, updating you on Marquette sports and events. But before we get to all of that, we have Brooklyn here to tell us who she'll be interviewing for this week's senior interview. Who is it this week?
This week, I'll be interviewing Kaylee Plussel.
Thanks, Brooklyn. We'll get to that exciting interview later in the show, but now we have an update on our graduation countdown. How many days are left, Morgan?
There are still 92 days left until we graduate.
It still seems so far away, but I know that the days will go by quickly. But if we're counting days, it's worth mentioning that this month we have one more day than we did last February, as this year, 2016, is a leap year.
As I'm sure you all know, a leap year occurs only once every 4 years, but leap years are not a new concept. Leap years have been occurring since the induction of the Gregorian calendar.
Though we use the Gregorian calendar now, the leap year was first suggested by one Julius Caesar in his original Julian calendar as far back as 45 BC.
Now, because we add February 29th to the calendar this year, leap year babies get to celebrate their official birthday for the first time in 4 years. Most years, people born on February 29th choose to celebrate their birthday on either February 28th or March 1st.
February 29th is not only a day for birthdays, but also for dances. A number of Sadie Hawkins dances are held on or around February 29th, following the tradition of an old Irish story.
According to a legend, St. Patrick declared February 29th as the day that any woman could ask any man of her choosing to marry her, which is very different from the social norm of men asking women for their hand in marriage.
Well, since it's the time of year for women to make requests, there's only one thing I'd like to ask for.
What would that be, Amber?
Jam time. Take it away, ladies.
Thanks, Amber. February is not only the time for Sadie Hawkins dances, it's also the time of year to remember our presidents. On Wednesday, the Dubuque Art Council sponsored a special program for our elementary students.
They sure did. Mr. Danny Russell, an Abraham Lincoln impersonator, came to Marquette to give a special presentation to our K-5 students.
He presented a summary of Lincoln's life from his childhood, including the death of his mother and sister, to his time as a lawyer before his presidency, all while in the character of Abraham Lincoln.
For those wondering, Lincoln's mother died by drinking poisonous milk, and his sister died while giving birth.
Wow, that's really sad. I probably would have fallen into depression for a few years if that had happened to me.
Well, Mr. Lincoln was said to have battled bouts of depression.
Mr. Russell, the Abraham Lincoln impersonator, used these facts during the presentation to teach his students important lessons like persevering through failures and the importance of reading and writing.
While Lincoln is most known in his efforts in abolishing slavery, he is also a supporter in allowing a woman to vote.
All the more reason for me to love good old honest Abe.
Actually, Abraham Lincoln didn't like to be called Abe. He preferred that people called him by his last name, Lincoln.
How about one last fact about Abraham Lincoln before we go?
Sure, Allison, what is it?
Well, Lincoln was the first president with a beard, and was convinced to grow it after receiving a letter from a little girl named Grace Bedell.
For Marquette in Motion, this has been
Jam Time!
With Justina Deminger,
Allison Hager,
Megan Litter,
And Mackenzie Kilberg.
Don't start growing a beard yet. Marquette in Motion will be back after these messages.
Welcome back to Marquette in Motion. Christina Koos is here with her report on the Junior High Science Fair.
This year's Junior High Science Fair will be held on Wednesday, March 9th from 5:15 to 6:15 in the MEC lobby. Throughout the past weeks, Mr. John Knoll's students have been working hard on their projects. Both in and out of class, students have been finishing up their projects, display boards, and written reports. The 6th grade students have designed and built inventions that must solve a real-world problem. 7th grade students have developed experiments that can be tested using the scientific method, and 8th grade students worked in cooperative groups to design and build Rube Goldberg machines. Mr. Knoll says he always looks forward to seeing the final products the students create. He also hopes the students understand that science is an active, engaging, and enjoyable field of study. He says it involves learning new information through research and experimentation, and it provides a foundation for creating new technologies to improve people's lives. We hope to see you all in the MEC on the 9th. For Marquette in Motion, this has been Christina Koos.
Thanks, Christina. Let's bring in Lauren Kilberg for another exciting edition of You Ask, We Answer. Today's first question comes from a parent. It reads, I saw long tables in the lobby of the high school and something about a t-shirt drive. What is this t-shirt drive all about?
Well, the tables you saw in the high school lobby are part of the Senior Service Project, a graduation requirement here at Marquette. During their senior year, each student must select a project they feel passionate about, research the work of the organization, and log 18 hours of volunteer work within the organization. For their service project, Christina Coos and Brittany Moore are working with Mary Schmidt to create t-shirt diapers for infants in Haiti. Now, these t-shirts are being collected in Marquette's lobby. They are due Friday, however, I'm sure they'll always be accepting more. In fact, Mary Schmidt collects t-shirts here at Marquette throughout the year for her own service work. So go clean out those closets and bring in your old t-shirts.
Good suggestion, Lauren. I know the boys and girls basketball seasons have come to an end, but have any awards been released for our players?
Well, Morgan, the all-conference teams have yet to be released, but Christian Mickles was named as an academic all-stater for basketball. He will be receiving his award during the Boys State Tournament from March 7th through 12th. We'll let you know all the details on just when you can watch CJ on TV as they are released. Congratulations to all of our basketball teams and cheer team on their very successful seasons.
But what about the dance team, Lauren? Now that Marquette doesn't host any more home basketball games, is the dance season over for the Marquette dancers?
Well, the Marquette dance team's MEC performances have come to a close, but 2 performances remain for the team. They will be performing at Bellevue High School's annual Bleacher Blowout this Sunday beginning at 5 o'clock. The team will be bringing out their second-place State Pom routine and a brand-new co-ed routine to a mix from Greece. We hope to see you all there. And, even if we can't see you, we can always hear you. So let your voice be heard by contacting us at marquetteinmotion@marquettecatholic.com. This has been Lauren Kilberg. We'll return in a moment with more Marquette in Motion.
We're back with Marquette in Motion. Sam Peters and Jonathan Herrig are here with your Marquette Sports and Updates report.
Thanks, Morgan. On Friday, February 19th, the varsity girls played their second district game of the season against Easton Valley. The girls certainly came out ready to play and won the game with a final score of 68-37. Also in that game, junior Marissa Schrader scored an amazing 35 points, beating Marquette's school record for most points scored in a game. As an interesting aside, the previous record was held by assistant coach Courtney Ketman, whose previous record was 33 points. Congratulations, Marissa. The girls then went to Wilton on Monday to play the school of Burlington Notre Dame in the sub-state game, whose team is actually ranked 4th in the state. The girls had a rough start to the game, but early in the fourth quarter they were able to reduce Burlington's lead to only 7 points. Burlington kept running the clock down, forcing Marquette to foul, thus sending the opposing team's players to the free throw line. Burlington knocked down most of their free throws, bringing a loss to Marquette. The final score was 49-36. And now we move over to the boys' results. The varsity boys played conference rival Lisbon for their second game in the district tournament. The game was very close between the two teams throughout the game, with Marquette down by 5 at the half. In the final seconds, Marquette and Lisbon were tied up and Marquette could not get a successful final shot up in time. Therefore, the game went into overtime. The Marquette boys fought their hardest, but sadly lost the game 54-50. We would like to thank all of Marquette's seniors on both teams for their leadership and hard work throughout the years.
I agree, Jonathan. I know I enjoyed seeing all those seniors play this season. In other updates, the Junior High Vocal Festival is being held at 2 p.m. on Monday the 29th. Parent-teacher conferences are coming up very soon too, with classes getting dismissed at 12:10, March 9th and 10th, with no school the 11th. And lastly, Marquette's annual Magic of Children fundraiser is approaching, and this year is being held April 2nd at Horizon Hall in Bellevue. We'll keep you all informed on the specifics of the sports and updates as they approach. Here at Marquette in Motion, this has been Sam Peters.
And Jonathan Herrig.
With your Marquette Sports and Updates report.
Thanks, boys. Now we'll take it on over to Brooklyn Moore for her senior interview.
Hello, everyone. I'm Brooklyn Moore, and I'll be interviewing Kaylee Plussel, a senior at Marquette. So, Kaylee, how's your senior year going so far?
Great.
That's good. I'm sure you have a very exciting future planned ahead. So, could you tell some of our listeners some of your exciting plans?
I plan on attending Kirkwood Community College for veterinary technician.
Sounds interesting. What does that involve exactly, though?
It is a 2-year program, and I will be going out there and learning how to prep animals for surgery, and I will be doing a kennel management course so I can know how to manage a kennel, and I will be acting with different types of animals and their behavior. Kirkwood has different types of animals out in their facility, such as beef, swine, dogs, and cats, and we work with them on a daily basis with hands-on.
That sounds like fun, and it should be a great experience for you. So not only do you have college to look forward to, but you still have over a quarter of your senior year left. How do you plan on spending this last quarter or so?
I work at the Bellevue Veterinary Clinic in town, and I also work at St. Joe's Daycare, but one of the most things I'm looking forward to is softball my senior year.
Aw, that's good. So it sounds like you'll definitely be busy. What's one piece of advice you can give to your underclassmen about time management?
Do not procrastinate and get things done on time when they're supposed to be done.
That's definitely a good piece of advice. You mentioned earlier that animals are definitely in your future. So what's your favorite animal and why?
My favorite animal would be a horse. I've grown up around horses my whole life as my grandma and grandpa own a horse farm, and I've always been very involved with horses.
And finally, who do you most admire?
The person I admire most would be my Grandpa Kilberg. We've always been close through horses and different types of animals, and I've always found him to be one of the closest people that I can talk to.
Aw, that's sweet. Well, thanks for letting me interview you, Kaylee, and thanks to all our listeners. Make sure to keep tuning in. For Marquette in Motion, this has been Brooklyn Moore.
Thanks for reporting, everyone.
And thanks for tuning in. For Marquette in Motion, this has been Morgan Minster.
And Amber Krieg.
And remember, stay informed, stay involved, stay
in motion.